Let's start with our first news. Alexander Volkanovski says he is open to fighting Justin Gaethje for the lightweight title. He explained that if the UFC offers him the opportunity, he would absolutely accept it. He made it clear that he does not usually call for fights, and he believes opportunities should be earned rather than demanded. He referenced his career, saying that after defending his belt multiple times, he positioned himself for a double champ opportunity before facing Islam. He added that his approach has always been to stay consistent, defend his belt, and let results speak for themselves. Volkanovski stated that even after losing the title and coming back to defend against Lopez, he still believes his record shows he deserves big opportunities. He said that fighting Gaethje would be a major matchup, especially with both fighters being experienced veterans in the sport. He mentioned the idea of two older, highly experienced fighters meeting in the lightweight division, and said he would be 100% open to it if the UFC decided to book it. However, he also emphasized that he is not actively calling for the fight, as he respects the UFC ranking system and matchmaking decisions. He suggested that fighters who do not align with what the UFC wants can sometimes be overlooked or punished in terms of opportunities. Still, he remains ready for any challenge that comes his way and continues to train with the mindset of being prepared for elite competition at all times. Overall, he remains focused on staying active, improving his game, and being ready for any major opportunity that the UFC presents, whether it is at featherweight or lightweight, and he believes his experience will always keep him in contention at the highest level of the sport in the division overall legacy. Move on to another news. Alex Pereira says he is afraid to return to fighting due to concerns over how referees are handling illegal shots to the back of the head. He reposted a message stating, "Honestly, I'm afraid to go back to fighting with all this going on. I think I've already done my part." He pointed to recent fights where he believes stoppages and deductions were not enforced correctly, especially in bouts where fighters were taking clean shots to the back of the head. In the Andre 5 fight and another major fight involving Cyril Gane, he argued that clear fouls changed the momentum of the bouts, while referees allowed action to continue. He explained that by definition, sport operates within a strict rule set, and strikes to the back of the head are illegal and should result in immediate referee intervention. He illustrated the back of the head as the area covered by headphones, saying that any shots landing there should be treated as fouls and penalized accordingly. He argued that depending on severity, referees should deduct points or stop the fight entirely when repeated illegal strikes occur. He also addressed critics who say fighters were already under pressure, stating that regardless of defensive posture, the rules still must be enforced. The discussion also linked to broader UFC backstage updates, including claims that Trevor Whitman said Hunter Campbell reached out a few weeks ago regarding ongoing changes. He further emphasized that fighter safety and consistency in officiating are becoming major talking points across the sport, with many athletes and analysts debating how strictly referees should enforce rules during high-intensity exchanges. According to him, moments of hesitation or missed calls can significantly alter the outcome of fights, especially at the elite level, where margins are extremely small. He suggested that clearer standards and faster intervention could help maintain fairness and reduce controversy inside the cage. The conversation has sparked wider debate among fans about how MMA should balance entertainment with strict rule enforcement, particularly when illegal strikes occur in fast exchanges where visibility is limited for officials. Overall, Alex Pereira remains focused on the future of the sport, while discussions around officiating standards continue to evolve within the UFC, with fighters, coaches, and analysts all contributing to ongoing conversations about fairness, safety, and the direction of professional mixed martial arts going forward in competition at all levels. Move on to another news. Dustin Poirier was reportedly arrested over the weekend, according to TMZ, after an incident in Atlanta, Georgia. Dustin Poirier, 37-year-old, was booked on a misdemeanor charge of public drunkenness at approximately 6:38 p.m. before being released later that night at around 10:14 p.m. At this time, it is still unclear what exactly led to the arrest. According to reports, public drunkenness in Georgia can carry a penalty of up to 1 year in jail or a fine if convicted. A Deep Waters podcast episode was released today, where Dustin is usually a regular guest alongside Dean Thomas and Jorge Masvidal. However, he was notably absent. In his place, Rashad Evans stepped in for the discussion, filling the panel spot for the latest episode. Dustin has yet to publicly comment on the situation and no official statement has been released by his team. The situation has quickly gained attention across MMA media, with fans and analysts discussing the implications and waiting for further updates from official sources. For now, the focus remains on any potential legal outcome and whether additional details will emerge regarding the circumstances surrounding the arrest. As of now, there has been no further clarification from law enforcement or representatives, and the MMA community continues to monitor the situation closely as it develops. This incident adds another unexpected headline to Dustin Poirier's recent career timeline, though at this stage, it remains a developing matter without confirmed long-term consequences. No official statements from his management or legal representatives have provided additional clarity, and no court proceedings details have been publicly released at this time. As the story continues to circulate online, it has sparked widespread debate among fight fans regarding athlete conduct, media reporting, and how quickly unverified details can spread across social platforms before full confirmation is available from authorities or official sources, highlighting the fast-moving nature of modern sports news cycles and the importance of verified reporting in high-profile cases involving public figures in combat sports. At this point, all attention remains on official updates, with no additional confirmed information released, and the situation is expected to develop further in the coming days as more details potentially emerge from verified sources and representatives connected to the case. The report remains ongoing as new information may surface over time and will be closely monitored by media outlets worldwide in the MMA community globally. Move on to another news. Arman Tsarukyan has responded after Justin Gaethje said he would not accept the truck gift that was promised following a betting situation and informal wager between the two sides. Justin Gaethje explained that he is not willing to take the truck from Arman, stating that there was never a handshake agreement in place, and making it clear he would refuse the gift under any circumstances. He added that even though Arman reportedly won a significant betting payout by backing him, he still does not feel comfortable accepting the vehicle as a reward. Gaethje also discussed the situation during a podcast appearance, where the group talked about the wager, the money involved, and the idea of the truck being delivered. The conversation quickly became a topic of debate, with some participants joking that Gaethje should simply take the truck, while others questioned whether the gesture made sense without a formal agreement. Throughout the discussion, Gaethje stood firm on his position, repeating that he does not want the truck, regardless of outside pressure or public opinion. The moment highlighted the mix of humor, pride, and competition that often surrounds fighters even outside the octagon. In response, Arman addressed the situation publicly after watching the comments and reactions. He said he was surprised by Gaethje's stance and ultimately decided not to proceed with sending the truck to him. Instead, Arman announced that he would redirect the vehicle and give it away to one of his followers. He explained that all details for the giveaway would be posted in the caption of his announcement, encouraging fans to participate for a chance to win. Arman also stated that he believes the truck could be more useful to someone else outside of the professional fighting circle, and that the decision came after reflecting on Gaethje's refusal and the overall response from the community. He confirmed that the truck had already been prepared for delivery, but after the situation escalated, he chose to change plans entirely and move in a different direction. Despite the controversy, Arman made it clear that his competitive focus remains unchanged. He emphasized that if he and Gaethje ever meet inside the octagon, the story would be very different when it comes to performance and outcome. The situation has now evolved into a wider talking point among fans, with debates continuing over sportsmanship, informal betting gestures, and whether such gifts should be accepted without clear agreements. The conversation keeps both names connected, as speculation grows about a potential future clash in the lightweight division, where tensions could eventually be settled inside the cage under official fight conditions and rankings pressure. Move on to another news. Jorge Masvidal has responded to circulating rumors about Ilia, denying claims that the fighter was not bringing in high-level sparring partners during training camp. On the Deep Waters podcast, Dean Thomas discussed the narrative, suggesting that Ilia may not have been testing himself enough in the gym, with some people believing that this could have played a role in his loss to Justin Gaethje. Jorge Masvidal pushed back on that idea, saying he personally spoke with Ilia's coach, who gave a different version of events regarding the training camp. Masvidal explained that he reached out to a longtime strength and conditioning coach connected to Ilia's camp to get clarity on what was really happening behind the scenes. According to Masvidal, The coach told him that Ilia did in fact bring in strong sparring partners, including high-level European kickboxers and experienced MMA fighters, to help prepare for the fight. He added that from what he was told, the camp included seasoned veterans who were brought in specifically to push Ilia and give him realistic, high-intensity rounds ahead of the matchup. Masvidal suggested that rather than a lack of quality sparring, the situation may have been more related to Ilia's overall mindset heading into the fight. He said it appeared Ilia may have been extremely confident, possibly believing he could simply walk forward, impose his style, and dominate without needing constant adjustments. According to Masvidal, that level of confidence can sometimes become a double-edged sword, especially if it turns into overconfidence going into a high-level fight. He noted that while confidence is important, fighters also need balance, awareness, and the ability to adapt when things do not go according to plan inside the octagon. Dean Thomas also added perspective, suggesting that regardless of camp rumors, mindset plays a huge role in performance and outcomes at the elite level. He pointed out that even if training is perfect, a fighter can still struggle if they enter the fight with the wrong emotional state or expectation of dominance. He explained that confidence is healthy, but only when paired with discipline and the ability to adjust under pressure. The discussion also touched on how fighters can sometimes become mentally overwhelmed during competition, leading to frustration, negative self-talk, or breakdowns in strategy when the fight starts to slip away. Overall, the conversation highlighted that Ilia's preparation may not have been lacking in quality sparring partners, but rather that the bigger factor could have been mindset, expectations, and how a fighter processes adversity once the fight begins inside the cage at the highest level of MMA competition. Move on to another news. Garry says he hopes Islam Makhachev takes him down when they meet in their welterweight title clash at UFC 330 on August 15th. Garry believes Islam is one of the most complete fighters in the sport, but he insists that he brings unique physical advantages that have not been seen against Islam before. He pointed out that Islam has not faced someone as long, tall, or fast as him, and also highlighted his own distance management, boxing skills, head movement, and takedown defense as key weapons in the matchup. Garry said he actually wants Islam to attempt takedowns during the fight because he is confident in his ability to handle that situation and prove his overall skill set. He stated that if Islam does take him down, he wants to show the world that he can survive, escape, and get back to his feet against one of the best grapplers in MMA history. He emphasized that he wants to beat Islam in his own world, saying he is not afraid of grappling exchanges and is fully prepared to test himself in every area of the fight. Garry made it clear that he respects Islam's grappling pedigree, including his internationally recognized Sambo background, but he does not believe it will be enough to stop him. He went on to say that he plans to break Islam's momentum, disrupt his championship reign, and bring an end to his winning streak. According to Garry, this fight is about more than just winning a title. It is about proving that he can defeat one of the most dominant champions in the sport by meeting him in his strongest area. He added that he intends to push forward aggressively, impose his own pace, and take control of the fight regardless of where it goes. Garry also stated that he sees himself as the fighter who will stop history from continuing, believing that he will be the one to end Islam's dominance at welterweight. Overall, he remains fully confident heading into the matchup, convinced that his physical attributes, technical skill set, and mental approach will be enough to overcome one of the most decorated champions in MMA and change the course of the division at the highest level of competition inside the octagon. Move on to another news. Georges St-Pierre has highlighted a potential problem that Conor may face heading into his upcoming clash with Max Holloway at UFC 329 on July 11th. According to St-Pierre, the issue is not physical ability, but rather how Conor manages his training environment and whether he allows his coaches to fully take control during camp. He explained that fighters often make a mistake by trying to be the boss in training, thus, instead of letting their coaches guide the process and build the correct preparation structure. St-Pierre emphasized that when you step into a fight, it is a very unpleasant and chaotic environment where control is limited and unpredictability is constant. He said that in competition, you can only control certain factors while many other elements are completely outside of your control, which is why training must reflect that reality as closely as possible. He stressed that fighters should recreate that pressure and discomfort in training so they are mentally and physically prepared for the chaos of fight night. However, He warned that if Conor tries to control everything in camp and does not allow his coaches to push him into difficult situations, it could create a dangerous mismatch between preparation and reality. St-Pierre explained that avoiding discomfort in training can lead to being unprepared for the intensity of a real fight, where nothing goes according to plan. He added that a proper camp should feel like controlled chaos, where coaches intentionally place the fighter in difficult positions to simulate real fight stress. According to him, the goal is to build resilience and adaptability, so the fighter can perform even when things are not going their way inside the octagon. St-Pierre concluded that if Conor does not embrace this coaching structure and instead tries to dictate everything himself, it could become a serious disadvantage against elite opponents like Holloway. He reinforced that preparation must match reality as closely as possible, because anything less leaves gaps that high-level opponents are likely to exploit during competition at the highest stage of the sport.